Tomorrow marks the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month, and here to tell us more about this year's celebration is our very own Latino and international editor, Liz. Liz, what do you got for us?
Obviously, we are so excited to launch Hispanic Heritage Month at Xfinity. Xfinity, we do it big, right? And this year, bigger than ever, because we have a collection that is both bilingual and bicultural, that really does reflect la belleza that is our culture and nuestra gente, right? So, what you'll see here is that we have titles like a Boss and Cantinflas for those of us who remember those growing up. Our collection this year is going to be on X1, on Stream, and Flex. And so you'll be able to watch on the go and not just when you're home. So the celebration, again, is big, and we have a free preview of content for that first entire week. So September 15th through September 21st, we have free content available to all of our customers that you can watch, and I encourage you to binge. So things like the first season of Diary of a Future President, which you see there, and which we'll talk about a little later as well. We also have concerts and movies, kids collections. We also have special collections that'll help with trivia and tell me without telling me, and how it started and how it's going collections. And then tons of music and concerts. So I, again, am ready to binge, and I hope you are too, because again, this is a huge celebration like only Xfinity knows how to do, again, on all of our platforms. And make sure that you check out all of our really great content, especially because we have some recommendations from some celebrities like Becky G and Jaime Mayol. So we are really excited. So I'm not a guest editor, I am one of the editors, but I also have a recommendation. So, and I know you guys do too, but I'll go ahead and get started. So my recommendation for this month is Yo Soy la Salsa. Now, this to me is super important because this is the Johnny Pacheco story, and this will walk you through the life of Johnny Pacheco, how he starts. He's the musical director and creator of the Fania Music and Fania All-Stars, which I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but these are he was the founding father of the salsa movement in New York in the 60s and 70s. And this is where salsa was originated. And so the Fania All-Stars, if you know salsa, if you love salsa, if you are Latino and you love this music, this is definitely a movie that I would recommend so that you can learn a little more about our Dominican American friend, Johnny Pacheco. What about you, Gordon? Do you have a recommendation?
I do. Now, you gave us so many amazing titles to choose from. It was tough, but fortunately on that list was one of my all-time favorites, that being the 1997 biopic, Selena. If you're unfamiliar with this movie, if you're a younger person who likes your Lil Nas X and your Justin Biebers, it's a movie about the singing sensation Selena, who was just on the precipice of becoming one of the biggest names in music until her life was tragically cut short. It stars Jennifer Lopez. Before she was J-Lo, before she was Bennifer, one half of Bennifer, she played the role of Selena, and she is amazing in this role to the degree that I'm a huge Andy Kaufman fan. I've read his autobiography 6 different times, but Jim Carrey in Man in the Moon did such a good job playing Andy Kaufman that sometimes when I think of Andy Kaufman, I actually see Jim Carrey. It's the same thing with Jennifer Lopez. She just really disappeared in this role. It's inspirational. It's amazing. It's heartbreaking. She did a fantastic job. So my pick is Selena. Check it out. David, what do you got for us?
Well, before I read my pick, Liz, I'm so excited that you mentioned Becky G as a guest editor, because I got to interview her a few years ago for Power Rangers, and she is one of the sweetest, nicest, most down-to-earth, humble young stars. And I think it's always nice to say when you meet somebody and they're better than you could have expected, because not everyone is. Most people are good, but Becky was next level, the sweetest person. So check out her stuff because she's just a good person.
That's awesome.
Plug for
like Dolly
Becky.
Parton.
Plug for Becky.
Yeah. So my pick is Coco, the Disney Pixar movie. Back in 2017, I was fortunate enough to actually go to Pixar Studios to interview the filmmakers behind Coco. And it ended up being one of the most memorable and actually moving experiences of my life. Coco was so much more than a movie for so many people at Pixar and beyond. It was representation. It was about seeing their culture and families and lives on the big screen. And what's so great about Pixar is that they really get everyone involved in making their movies, from lead animators to cleanup animators to storyboard people to the cafeteria barista, literally, to the people who work on the business side of the studio. And Pixar really tapped into their Latino community and said, tell us about your family. And we talked to folks who said, I told a story about my grandmother hitting us with a flip-flop. And then I saw it on screen. And someone told us a story about how they mentioned that every time they went back home, someone was pregnant. It didn't matter. Every time they went back home, a new person was pregnant. And they said the next time they saw the storyboards, there was a character who was not pregnant, who was now pregnant in the movie. And he said, I just couldn't believe that they listened to me and were incorporating all of these little things into the movie. But the thing that really stood out to me was just how proud and excited they were to be a part of this film. So when I watched it with all of this information in mind, I cried a guttural cry that I had to basically scream into a pillow because I was so happy for them and for this movie. I was like, like I couldn't catch my breath at the end because I was just so happy for them. So that's a long-winded way of saying Coco is just such an incredible achievement for so many reasons. If you haven't seen it, why? Check it out this month and just appreciate, the representation and the story that they're telling here, because so many people put so much love into it. So that's my plug.
Thank you for that. I love that. And I really appreciate that, because this year's collection, Mi Gente Presente, is just that, David. It really is. We're celebrating the trajectory and the accomplishments of our Latino people, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And so these stories really do tell so much more than just a story. To your point, they really do represent our culture, represent our people in ways that that is just so beautiful and melded into the story that it just becomes part of the story. So we're super excited. We have tons of content and wonderful movies and stories and concerts that you will be busy all month. I swear you will be busy all month checking out our collection. So again, my last plug for it, probably not, because I'll talk about it some more, but definitely make sure that you go ahead and check it out by saying Latino into your remote.
And Liz, I think it's important to mention once more that you don't have to speak Spanish to enjoy this content. It's bilingual for the most part. So somebody like me who took 7 years of Spanish and can't speak a lick of it can still go and enjoy all of this content.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up again, right? So historically, so many of our collections year over year have been really focused on our Spanish language, which was beautiful and definitely a part of our culture as well. What we heard from our customers and from the community at large is, we love the Spanish language stuff, but guess what? We're watching so much more than just that. And there are different stories that tell our story in a different way in English as well. And so this collection, again, is for the entire household. So all the way from abuela, bisabuela, down to the kids who are in school. And even if you are not Latino, it is such a great time to get to know this beautiful culture and our wonderful stories. So thanks for that.
Love it. Love it. And there's one other way that we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. You can say In the Heights into your voice remote to watch the new movie musical at a special discounted price. Great movie. Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote, produced it. check it out. It's good. It's really good. And of course, as Liz said, say Latino into your voice remote to check out Liz's collection.